Hey, welcome back. I can't believe that we're already on the seventh son in the Sons of God series. Hello, listener. If you're just joining us today for the first time, or this is the very first time of listening to this podcast, you're welcome. God bless you. I invite you to go back and listen to almost all of the other past editions, but most especially the series that we're covering right now. So for all the first half of 2023, we are covering the series known as the Sons of God series. So we are picking different biblical men, both in the Old and the New Testament, that serve the cause of God, that serve the cause of Christianity even up till now, for us to learn from their life. And funny thing is that almost all of the characters that we're picking, almost all of them, they're not just have flawless stories or we've not just picked the best of the best, but we've mixed them. We have people both the good, the bad, and the ugly experience that really teach us as men in this contemporary time, because we are the same life they live at that time is the kind of life we're living now, the same kind of temptation they faced at that time, that's the kind of temptation we are facing now. So there's nothing new under the sun, like a lot of people will say, and like the Bible also said, there's nothing new under the sun, under the order of heaven. Things are just rotating and moving on back and forth. So what can we learn from their life? And that's been the call of God over our lives. So it remains the Art 1920 podcast, a podcast for men and by men, where we are beginning to encourage ourselves as men to become that which God would want us to be, and to become that which He desires for us to be as men, to become spiritual head of our family, of ourselves, and of our home. So today we're going to be talking about another great son of the Most High God. In his own time, he was a man that served in many generations. He was a man that was known as an astute administrator, and we're going to learn a lot from his life. It's no other person than Daniel. And you all know the story of Daniel, that they were part of. He was part of the Hebrew boys that were moved through slavery into the land of Babylon. And his story was outstanding that from the beginning, he showed that Daniel came from a home that he was taught the truth. He knew the truth. He knew that he wasn't to defy himself with any food sacrifice to idols or anything that is not pure and is not holy. And when he had that opportunity, even from the beginning, he had to appeal first to the king, house manager, that please, can you help me not to eat this food that the king have assigned to us? Can you just feed me and my colleagues with vegetable, and test to see what the Lord will do in our life? It means that Daniel was not alone. He was an influencer. He was able to influence other young men that believed in the cause of the God of Israel, and they put their life at stake. But there was something about them that showed that they had the indwelling of the Spirit, and the house manager listened to them. So you see, my life is in danger, but I see something unique about you boys. I've noticed you boys since we came here. You're so different, and I will trust you. And he said, just 10 days, and in 2 weeks, the man says, then I now believe. You have your vegetables, you have your beans, you have your plantain, you have your dodo. You can continue to eat it, and you'll be fine. First, there was that uniqueness in his life. And we saw that at different points, the hand of God was upon him. And the Bible said Daniel and his colleague and his friends were 10 times found to be intelligent, to be full of wisdom, more than every of the young people in that program, in that fellowship. And he came as top. And that set him aside. And I will now say that Daniel continues his journey, that he never lived alone. Daniel always support. Every time he recommended other people just like him into different positions and into different, and even when people were against Daniel, he never was jealous of them. He stood. Daniel served in different administration. And that's, for me, I think that's one of the biggest uniqueness that I think I learned from the life of Daniel, which I usually share with a lot of people. That was what made him different from Joseph. Joseph, when we come to talk about him, maybe along the line in this series, you'll see that Joseph was a great man, but he never had a succession plan. He never made any other people of Israel known anywhere. And the Bible says when there came a time, there was a Pharaoh that never knew Joseph. How did that happen? Because Joseph was just alone, doing everything by himself. He never raised others. And that was one of the biggest problems he also had with his brothers growing up, and which we saw was a flaw in his life. We're going to talk about that when we come into it, but that was different of Daniel. Daniel saw it. Daniel intervened for the people. Daniel was a man that even his enemy, though they wanted to hate him, but they had no point against him, because they said that that man is still going to do what he's going to do. As a man of integrity. So what are some of the lessons we can learn from the life of Daniel that can take us as men as we continue this journey, even into becoming that which God has called us to? Is one, he is a team player. Are you a team player? We are beginning to live in a generation. I know I just see a lot of things. I work in different organizations. I just feel that sometimes am I the only team player here and all that? People no longer want to play as a team. Everybody wants to do individualistic work, all because they want to position themselves. So if you don't contribute, you might be in a meeting and somebody contributes and they design the final document, and because the name of the person is not there, only the people that were mentioned are rewarded. And so people are afraid of being a team player, because if they don't hear about their name or their work is not seen, then they don't get rewarded. So you see a lot of people want to be seen. We've had colleagues that say, no, I want the manager to know that I'm the one working, I'm the one doing this. Yeah. And sometimes they're justified by their action, because when they're not seen, they don't get rewarded. But for you as a believer, that must not be your own pursuit. You must learn to be a team player. Like my wife who always says, teamwork makes the dream work. I love that saying every time, because if we work as a team, if we work as a family together, then it will work. We're beginning to live in a generation that wife wants to be known different, husband wants to be known different. And sometimes when I hear people talk about family finances and different things, or people are sharing how their parents run their family finances, I just say this is not the order of God. Husband is running his own thing different, he's building his own empire. He talks about my house, talks about my property, my car, my this, my that. And the wife talks about this is my own different thing. Oh no, that is not the order of God. You might have complete stories, you might have sweet story out there to share how somebody gave all to their wife and they lost it and they moved away. But brothers and sisters, that still doesn't make it right. That is not the order of the kingdom. It is one family. You must walk as a team. If you're in the church, you must walk as a team. As a family unit, you must walk as a team. You know, you watch some movie, you just understand. You know, we're talking of a story some couple of weeks back when I was in Nigeria, and my brother was dropping me and my wife up. My brother-in-law was dropping me and my wife up at the airport, and we're just talking about a man that owns one of the most flourishing banks in Nigeria in the past and sold his bank off. And when he sold his bank off, all of his kids, they could not manage the bank, and they're all opening different banks now. And we're saying, what kind of family is that? You could not maintain your family bank, but you're all now opening banks everywhere. That's not the lifestyle of a team player. As a team player, sometimes the glory must not come to you. But what is important as the team won? They might not say, the truth is that every player in a player of 11, no, I'm going to use soccer or football. I will not call it soccer to give some pleasure to my American friends. No, it is called football because it's playing with a leg. So when in a football game, there are 11 players, the goalkeeper and 10 other players, and even the reservists, the coach and everybody, the medical team, everybody contributes one way or the other to make a successful football match. Some you might not know. Look at, we watch the stadium. For those of you that have had privilege to go in some of the big stadiums in the world, you see the pleasure and the glamour in it. Those of us that have also privilege to watch on TVs and everything, you understand that there's a lot of work. The man that made the pitch, the people that say, you might not know of them, but they're also contributor to the success of that game. The cameraman, the commentator, the commentary and all of that, everybody. The player that you think did not play anything, they all contribute. The backman, if he doesn't block very well, the goal will go in. The central defender, the goalkeeper, even when a goalkeeper is stressful and his team is doing so great and they have less than, and the opponent has less than 20 possession of the ball coming to them, to their field or to their area, the keeper was still part of the success. The goal will then say who won the Champions League. They'll say Aston, Man U, Chelsea, Shooting Star of Ibadan, Atlanta Star of Atlanta. When they call it, they will first call the team, they will not call the player Odogu, Jude, Paul, Emeka. They will first call the club, they will not start calling the players. So it's always first about who won the team. I don't know why I spent a lot of time in talking about this team player. I've really laid a lot of emphasis in it. Do you hear what the Spirit is saying to your family right now? I just like the story of my family. It might not be that perfect, but in terms of team player, that is a dream. We grew up in a community, church and all of that. Everybody in the church do not understand. Even my own relatives, they do not understand. But we're living as a team player. The right hand, like my mom would say, watches the left. The left watches the right. And they saw that there was progress, someone was paying, when it's time for school fees, when it's time for anything, everybody rather run and have what we have, we bring it together. And we're not owing anybody, we're not indebted. And it got to a point that even a minister one day, anybody that goes to counseling from him will say, go and meet Edawoni and let him tell you how he's doing it for his family. But the secret, I don't know if any of those people will listen today, it was that it was teamwork. We worked as a unit and we'll continue to work as a unit. That was the secret that the Lord gave to my parents in terms of how to raise their family. They didn't have everything, but they had everything because they worked as a team. The next point, do you have a succession plan? Which is what we talked about Daniel, that Daniel had a succession plan. And that succession plan really worked for him. He put different people in different places. I know when we talk about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and different people, they were all there. And it was a succession plan and every bit of his documentation that made when it was time. He knew that it is time for these people to go back from Babylon. Do you have a succession plan for you, for your work, for your business? Do you want the business to outlive you? You know, when we go to Europe and we go to all of this America and other places where people see businesses, sometimes you see businesses that have been 200, their household business. Even some business that nobody have heard all over the world, but in the community and the nation, they know them. They've been there for 200 years, 500 years, 300 years. The people that started those businesses had a succession plan, and their children upon children took up those plans. He was a man of prayer. That's something we can learn from him. All of the people we've talked about, no matter how we looked on them, the Lord has kept re-emphasizing in this series to us the essence for us as men to be prayerful. Integrity, again, just like Bezalel, just like Paul, he was a man of integrity. He was willing to make tough choices, even when people were against him, and people were saying, "Oh, they went and deceived the king to make a decree that anybody that does not worship the king would die." He was ready. He made the tough choices. He wasn't afraid. He was a friend. Remember when the king wanted to kill the people that could not pass his vision? He pleaded on their behalf. Those people were not even believers, but he made himself a friend to them. He said, "No, don't harm them, king. Give us time. We'll give you an answer to your dream." And he went to do that. And that was also for him respect to his adversary. There's a king, kill them, destroy them. No, he was there for them, and he was there for all of his friends. He made right recommendation for them to get positions. The Bible said they made them district head in different places based off the recommendation of Daniel. Who are you recommending? Who have you placed in high places? He was disciplined. That was something we need to learn from his life. And finally, one great lesson from the life of Daniel, that he built his moral compass around Jesus. You guys know they didn't mention Jesus, yes, but he built it around God. You, who is defining your moral compass? Are you quoting the philosopher? Unfortunately for you, that almost every philosopher, every religious leader of other religious group all over the world, they are sinful men that needs to repent, just like you and I. What is your moral compass on? I love that movement when they had WWJD. What will Jesus do? He should not die. Are you asking yourself at every point in this particular situation, what will Jesus do? I pray the Lord will help us. I pray that the wisdom that was found in the life of Daniel, he was a priest, a prophet, and a pastor over his home. Are you that? That's where we're going to stop today in the life of Daniel. Remember, we've covered 7 out of our 21 series, so we still have about 14 to go. I hope you're prepared. I hope you're still enjoying this series, The Sons of God. We'll see you next week again. We're going to talk about Onan. A lot of people of you might not have heard about him before. We're going to learn about him. He was the oldest son. He was one of the sons of Judah, the second son of Judah. We're going to learn about him and what he did that brought him into the attention of God. It might be, it wasn't for good, but there are lessons that we can learn from his life. Until we see you again next week, remember, it remains the Art 1920 podcast. we are on the series of the Sons of God. God bless you. May we all build our compass around Jesus and be more full of integrity like Daniel. God bless you. Love you. Bye-bye.